final. It is two of the best 2-2 teams that we've probably ever seen. Starbuck and KraV playing Ducks for a long time. Now clanless though, very, very good friends. And Sheik and Bizzare are the backbone of UMAT 2-2 for years now.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Bizzare here in the top right here, opting to go for the Blade Master, actually making his first appearance in 2 versus 2. Pretty cool to see. Starbuck, on the other hand, as the orc randoming, the random player randoming orc, is going for Farseer Headhunter. And how will the two undeads play differently as well? We have KraV going for the Lich, as I called yesterday, if you recall, which is pretty cool. Lich Ghouls, very explosive indeed. And it looks to be a Fast Fiends build order for Sheik. So all players playing differently despite sharing the same combination, Neo.
Damn, this is pretty cool. Sheik yesterday was also part of the FFA. He won a lot of our weeklies on Monday and seemed to be the dominant FFA force, but yesterday in the late game he had no chance against my man Leluami. Second chance for him. Starbuck will, of course, be present in the one-on-one as well. For KraV and Bizzare, though, only chance to score in the W3Champions finals.
Absolutely, and let's see how those two players can indeed perform here. We have KraV looking to go for the quick expansion by the looks of it with that Lich, which is a pretty nice opener, especially with the Farseer ally to try and help cover you or pressure one of your opponents. KraV actually scouting out as well what Sheik's build order is, so he is aware that it is Fast Fiends right now from Sheik, knowing that he has a lot of time to go for that expansion, probably clearing it pretty much as the DK is coming out, to be honest. In the meantime, Bizzare taking this first little camp here, getting quite a decent amount of experience in the course of haste for him. Not too shabby at all.
Okay, let's see how this will go down the line. It's super hard to predict for me what's happening, as everybody is playing differently, and we're on White Shore, a map that I only saw yesterday for the first time. I'll just lean back, you know, and watch the chaos unfold.
Well, I'll certainly do my best to try and summarize what will be happening in this match, but it is also a map I'm unfamiliar with too. And as you pointed out, everyone's playing differently, so there'll be quite a lot of different moves being made here by each player. But yeah, Sheik with his opener pretty much forced to try and creep level 3 as quickly as possible, building up that Fiend army. Bizzare also opting to creep, which is a fine choice with Blade. You can also be aggressive as well. KraV with the Lich pretty much needing to go for that fast expansion, to be quite honest, and getting that up with impunity currently. Pretty nice for him. Trying to secure the second camp here, seeing the Draenei units, also from the campaign, being taken down right now.
Late game campaign stages.
We're seeing a lot more campaign units make their way into these maps. And Starbuck, what I really love right now, this is a very classic orc play, is the level 2 Chain Lightning dive into the Acolytes of an undead player. And yep, this is going to be rough for Sheik. He is definitely losing at least one Acolyte right now. Tech is only about 35-40% the way through. I would probably cancel my tech, honestly. If a second Acolyte goes down here, you have pretty much no choice but to do so. And in the meantime, he is taking up nice and quick, Starbuck is, to tier 2 to try and get his tier 3 second hero on the go. And KraV pretty much getting his expansion up without any issues at all.
Oh man, I guess in 2-2 it's not that bad because you can be fed resources from your ally, but that will slow down the teak of Sheik and Bizzare by so much. A Grunt is about to fall for Starbuck with another coil maybe, but the Wolf block against the DK, creating some distance, making it impossible to reach. Wonderful amp. Oh, here I say it.
Skeleton.
And I cast a curse it. Second block attempt.
Another block attempt, but the Skeleton is also quite fast with the Unholy Aura, certainly faster than the Grunt right now, but the Farseer keeps getting in front of both the Skeleton and the DK, but now the DK finally gets the lead, and Starbuck knows this and executes his own unit for a night. Little deny there. Bizzare, in the meantime, creeping up a little bit. The Blade, I actually can't see him on the map currently. There he is, level 3, running around in invisibility, perhaps trying to pressure the Farseer right now, who is indeed only level 2. You know, the dive was nice into the gold line of Sheik, who is struggling quite a bit economically, but he did give up the opportunity to creep himself and has to deal with that level 3 Blade right now.
Exactly, and Starbuck's late game might not be as powerful with the freshly nerfed Headhunters. Late game AoE comes into play with Storm later And all the undead spells, of course. We'll see how much value they hold. We got a Spirit Lord though, so Shaman will be part of the build as well. And KraV, he's just expanding again.
KraV, the absolute madman that he is, a very unpredictable and difficult to go against player. I played him quite a few times on ladder myself. He is certainly a tricky one to read, and I think this third base will go pretty much completely unscouted. Obviously, the other team know about this expansion, which isn't the most fortified, only a single Nerubian, and while the grunts here with Beast Scroll here will be pretty much tearing that Nerubian down straight away. Where's that inbounds Nerubian tower now, Kevin?
Exactly. Yeah, against Scroll of the Beast and Grunts. What can you do? It's only unfair for Night Elves, I think. Orcs, exactly. Of course, experts with towers, raising them, destroying them. They know all about towers.
Oh yes, and building many of them as well. And yeah, KraV here, pretty much halfway to tier 2. His ally Starbuck right now, also about a quarter of the way to tier 3, trying to creep up that TC who did pop out nice and quickly as a result of that quick tech by Starbuck. But yeah, KraV under quite some pressure here, losing the expand and now getting his acolytes harassed in the main base as well. Shouldn't lose too much here against level 3 Blade, who is going to have to dip pretty soon. Oh, the Shadowhunter Bizzare also coming in with nothing too serious there. And Sheik coming in to actually back up this push. Starbuck might be forced into a TP pretty soon.
Ooh, okay, Dark Ranger second. No Lich Crypt Lord whatsoever. As there is a lot of ghouls, obviously, as there oftentimes is with KraV. Here comes the TP. Is that the big fight already against the Nerub Tower, against the Undead base? In the meantime, KraV lost the entire expansion on the left-hand side. The Grunts cleaned this, but so they're not part of the attack, and they got what they wanted. If only they knew about the 11 o'clock expansion.
I can't believe this 11 o'clock expo here. Pretty much going to go completely unscouted, I think, until perhaps Sheik and Bizzare head that way to take the camp and realize that there is indeed an undead base there, which would be quite funny for them to realize later on. But yeah, I think because Sheik and Bizzare have spent a lot of time together, their levels are not too fantastic. Pretty much the Blade level 3 here being the highlight of their army right now, but a DK level 2, Dark Ranger level 1, and Shadow level 1 is nothing to write home about. In the meantime, Starbuck has 3 heroes and the Legion Doomhorn compensating for that lack of Death Knight on their side. And the Lich as well, not far from level 4 and getting that +4 intelligence that we love all so much.
We definitely do. So what's the game plan now? Continue to harass KraV, but there's a combined defense keeping them from creeping. But yeah, Starbuck with 3 heroes is looking very hot already. Blade Master's trying to find new targets, doesn't really work. Bloodlust rah should be on the way or even finished already. But we need Headhunter upgrades as well, so it's not the perfect storm yet. But we have a fight.
Here we go, guys. TC focus immediately. Sheik chucking 2 level 1 coils onto that. Wow, the Farseer as well at the very back. The Farseer dies to the Fiend shots. There's no way Starbuck could have seen those little Fiend babies chase that Farseer down. And it dies. Unfortunately, the damage was enough to take him out. And now, Starbuck kind of a little bit on the back foot here, having to revive his hero. His army does look pretty strong on the other hand. And Sheik, his army is nothing too imposing currently. I think KraV can be quite comfortable just sitting here, trying to repair the altar a little bit. Wait, Bizzare finally sees the blight of the necropolis here, and this expansion will be quickly taken care of, and we'll be back to economic parity very soon.
Damn, that was close though. I think he wanted to go for the creep spot initially, but yes, you called it. He saw the blight last second. Very good find by Bizzare. And that's another raided base here. They were up at 4 bases, now they're down to 2. But of course, KraV, he is hungry for more gold and establishes that base, which is scouted immediately.
Yes, I like the Acolyte that Sheik has just kind of planted at this base, always checking to see. We have Acolyte on Acolyte warfare right now. Sheik's Acolyte will certainly come ahead in that engagement.
Warfare, it's like a pillow fight.
It is a wet noodle fight for sure. That's
I never heard that one, but that's awesome.
What, wet noodle?
Yeah.
Yeah, the lack of damage is pretty entertaining to see, but it is a closely contested Oh no, the Blade Master Bizzare just coming in to execute him, not letting Sheik's Acolyte get all the glory here, I'm afraid. And yep, Bucky and KraV here taking the middle spot, getting the Warsong Battle Drums. Unfortunately, not the best item, but Starbuck doesn't actually have a Beast Ray, so for now, it will compensate for the lack of a Kodo.
Right on. I love how you can see the communication between the two, the experience between the two teams and the 4 players. They know exactly what to do, when to do it, when to send your allies somewhere, when to hold yourself with what. It's time to creep up a little. The calm before the next storm. We get a Dreadlord third by KraV.
I think that's pretty typical KraV style here. Lich first, a Dreadlord third, Mass Ghouls. I feel like these are the heroes and unit choices that fit him very well indeed. But he might have quite a hard time against this strong tier 2 orc presence of Bizzare with Raider Walker, one of the most classic combinations we've seen in Warcraft, with that Blade Shadow, who's level 3 and has a scroll of healing as well on the Shadow. Pretty sweet. In the meantime, Sheik, still without his third hero actually. The Lich is just popped out but can't afford the Orb right now, unfortunately for him, which isn't ideal. Bizzare taking to tier 3, and yes, Starbuck here actually doesn't have the reinforced defenses upgrade. It's currently queued Neo, but these burrows are going to go down very fast. We have a TP response right now, presumably from Starbuck. Yes, here he comes. And how many burrows can Sheik get away with?
Oh man, Sheik's attacks have been very powerful. A Fiend dies, okay. And the town portal is gone as well, which have to be rebought in 2 and 2 always. But that was fantastic, keeping Starbuck stuck at 50. Sheik is breaking already, and Bizzare is the one to expand now, I see. Double Great Hall in the northwest.
Wow, kind of saying, you know, if you can do that, KraV, I can do it too. And yeah, 2 bases coming up for Bizzare right now. I think, honestly, a pretty decent choice. He's 50 food, he's been 50 food the entire game. He's hit tier 3. And all the players are quite passive still currently. Might have the opportunity to get at least one of those bases up. But I kind of feel that there's an attack brewing from KraV and Starbuck right now, who kind of feel like they need to push. They have a lot of scrolls, a lot of items prepared. They've hit their power spikes, and let's see if that matches up well against the power spikes of Sheik and Bizzare. Bizzare there floating quite a lot of gold currently, doesn't really want to break, but should perhaps consider breaking pretty soon indeed.
It is impressive that he builds 2 Great Halls and still has 700, 800 gold.
Yeah. It's kind of nuts, really. I guess, I'm not sure how he acquired so much money. Perhaps Sheik passed some over, who is currently in low upkeep himself. I see that Sheik actually just got a little bit of gold, and is at 58 food currently, which isn't too bad at all. Kind of decent Lich as well with a lot of damage. But let's see, the Shadowhunter of Bizzare not quite in this fight to start with. We might see a lot of hero focus going down this Blade right now. He is an easy target. Hex, Coil Nova, Stomp. We have so many different spells affecting him, but manages to get out pretty tanky there with those couple items. And now perhaps the DK of Sheik also taking a little bit of damage. Sleep going down to the Lich at the back there, who is a powerhouse with plus 25. And yep, who's going to come out in this fight? Come out on top in this fight? I'm not quite sure, but Starbucks and Berserkers are pretty much untouched. The Blade getting focused once again and goes down to the Chain Lightning Hex Stomp combination.
They were charging up for exactly this fight for the entire game, and they stomped Bizzare and Sheik. GG. Rah 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 Lich. Looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, I think Starbuck, the pretty massive carry in this game. KraV going for a very unorthodox opener, trying to get 2 expansions. Basically saying, if one goes down, I'll have the other. Both in the end got cleared out without mining too much, and kind of struggled to get his levels online. But in the end, Bucky with that strong army, very strong heroes indeed. And I feel like Sheik and Bizzare, they had strong heroes as well, but perhaps the sort of tier 2 army of Orc with those Raiders and Walkers, not the strongest against Undead Orc in the very late game, as you have Destroyers and mass piercing damage from those Berserkers to rain hell down on that ground army.
Yeah, they were a little too far down in tech, I guess. And then this is what can happen. Starbuck and KraV on the way, 1-0 for them. Bizzare and Sheik have to adjust, but White Shore was also the map of Starbuck and KraV. It was also a race combo that they know how to play. On the next map, it's time for the map pick of Sheik and Bizzare and a new combo on the former PD side.
Yes, absolutely. And now, let's see, the second map in the series here will be Knollwood, guys. A classic 3v3 map. But of course has been used in the past for 2v2 on the ladder, and even 1v1 back in the good old days. And now we will see a 2v2 clash occurring here. Perhaps we'll see a Blade Master from Bizzare once again. Lots of good items to snipe. The question, of course, always with this combination of Starbuck and KraV, what race will Bucky random?
True. And in the meantime, while we wait for Sheik and Bizzare to join the game, Buttcrumbs is gifting subs every 5 minutes. It is pretty insane to Rotty, actually. Are you watching, Kev? Great to see you doing what you do in the StarCraft side of things. What server did we select last time? Do you remember? Ah, this one, right? I guess E6.
I thought the ping was slightly higher for the players because I thought E6 was less stable or something. I'm not sure.
I don't remember, dude.
I have to be honest, neither do I. Look at us, so organized. Just waiting for Sheik to join this game.
Could be a rough weekend for him, man. Eliminated yesterday, now eliminated today. Of course, they went into this as the underdog, maybe not playing as much as a year ago or something. But yeah, eliminated in 2 of 3 game modes. That's hard.
It is rough, but at the end of the day, those game modes are pretty hard to be victorious in, let alone both of them. So,
especially if you're up against Liluami, Starbuck, and KraV.
Oh. Yeah, some fierce competition right there for sure.
You, of course, have the chance to boost up the prize pool. We're currently sitting at $2,303. We want it to be $2,500 at least, maybe even $3K. Thank you, North Drakkar, for creating a lot of accounts and using the sponsored crest on the right-hand side.
Just double checking. I think when you have T3, it doesn't work. I think the players have to be T1, T2. I could be wrong on that. And we'll see what happens, but I think that might be the case.
All right. Looks good then. Bizzare currently still on random. That's not supposed to be that way. But damn, lots of expansion attempts. Few of them went through, but they caused great distractions. Starbuck, oh, there we go. Starbuck and KraV with some harass. Then was returned, but in the end, tier 3 orc was superior.
Yeah, in the end, I feel like just Starbuck's army was able to just attack relentlessly and didn't really get attacked at all, to be honest. We had those 2-0 Berserkers throwing their spears. It doesn't matter that they suffered an HP nerf in this case. They were in a very nice spot, able to constantly attack without taking any damage. And the hero focus potential is just crazy on both sides, of course. But in the end, that blade always being in the front line is a very easy target. And you have, Hex, Stomp, Coil Nova. There are so many spells to try and take care of him. And unfortunately, he did go down on that second attempt. But yeah, hero levels were definitely in KraV and Bucky's favor for sure.
Let's see what these guys are able to do on Knollwood. KraV and Starbuck picking a map that is very uncommon. Bizzare and Sheik taking a map that we know for almost 20 years. Knollwood. And you know what we play on Knollwood? We play the guessing game of what fountain is this? And of course, you are an expert, so don't spoiler it for the people in chat. I'm zooming in right now. This is all the information you need. People in chat, tell us, is it a fountain of health or is it a fountain of mana?
Well, I hate to disappoint Neo, but I actually have a very hard time myself telling which fountain is which because my game is pretty dark. I have a lot of glare and I can't really see if that's a purple or a blue fountain, perhaps some color blindness, who knows. The excuses are endless, but I cannot tell what fountain this is.
Whew. Okay then. We got Starbuck and KraV on the left-hand side. We even got mirrored starting position, so no close position, which is possible here on Nullwood, but no. And also Night Elf Undead.
Night Elf Undead versus Orc Undead. Pretty interesting combination indeed. In the past, I would say this used to be extremely hard for the Orc Undead duo, as the mass Fiends and mass Hunters push from the Undead Night Elf can be very hard to deal with, especially with Blade Grunts. That lack of piercing damage, the lack of ability to creep very quickly is tough, and of course, your Undead partner isn't being fed, unlike KraV, who should be receiving resources from his ally, as I highly doubt Starbuck will be teching for a very long time in this game, perhaps if ever, and KraV can get everything online just a bit faster than Sheik can.
All right, yeah, and for a long time, Night Elf Undead was very strong. The timing push hit. We saw Ted and Hainu winning world championships with that combo every single game. The same push, nobody was able to hold it. Times have changed, and I kind of think that this combo sucks a little bit. It's definitely, like, if I had to do a tier list of 2-on-2 race combos, I'd put this very far down, because people learned how to play against it. The balance is also a little in favor of Orc Undead these days. I think this Sheik and Bizzare tying this up.
Well, we'll see if that indeed holds to be true. We have Starbuck currently using Searing Arrow to try and pressure the ghouls here in Sheik's base, which I think isn't going to get too much done, to be quite honest. Bizzare, as you can see, already has 2 items on his blade, with the circlet being purchased and the claws dropping from the camp. He knows exactly which Null Brute drops the item, and we'll see a 3rd permanent item be added to his arsenal. Sheik actually going for fast DK, by the way, was his opener, able to get across all the way through the Nullwood to KraV's base in order to try and prevent him from creeping. There was a little interaction with both coiling the creep, and of course KraV, being closer, managed to secure all the XP from his camp and should get level 2 here momentarily.
Exactly. Oh, this blade is indeed looking good. Big discussion about the fountain. I love it. Even after 20 years, people are not 100% sure. It's so nice. Remo yelled at me for not knowing this, but good to see I'm in company, and now of course I got it down, and we'll see the reveal really quickly. But will Bizzare and Sheik see this AP growing in the north?
Very sneaky AP once again. Starbuck taking a letter out of Foggy's book there. And yep, a little bit of pressure onto KraV's acolytes. Nothing too serious, shouldn't be losing much gold mining from that, but actually I can see KraV is about 240 gold down compared to Sheik. So I guess moving some acolytes around does actually cost him a decent amount of gold in the end. It's about 1 Fiend's worth, to be honest, which is quite surprising. And yet Sheik, with that fast TK build order, is pretty much almost tier 2, can opt for perhaps the Dark Ranger second again to try and creep, or the Lich to go for that stronger late game combination.
Okay, the Grunt was about to scout this, but just like yesterday in the one-on-ones, missed the scout.
Oh,
so here we go, exactly, and this will be a big distraction, and even a cancelled Beastery, and the combined push might be rolling in as well. Yeah, they are collapsing on Bizzare's base. This might be over soon.
The trouble is, it's really hard to build a base here on Nullwood. You have to build your initial buildings very far out in order to be able to place your tier 2 buildings safely. Probably the barracks could have done with being placed a little bit further out to let that Beastery have some space next to the Tauren Totem. And yep, there goes the Beastery. Bizzare getting collapsed on by both players right now. His ally needs to be here ASAP. Shop going down extremely fast against those Huntresses. No potions available for that blade, unfortunately, now. And Sheik with a level 1 DK, not offering much support here to his ally, I'm afraid. The Shadowhunter Bizzare here maybe has to try and help. Maybe they can force a TP from Starbuck's Priestess. Otherwise, this looks like a very tough push to hold.
Exactly. Lich is coming in as well. Shadowhunter deep in the base. No fortified defenses anywhere. I mean, the burrows help a little bit. Has to go heal wave first. No hacks for the hero focus. Trying to get the totem up. And Sheik You need to carry this now.
And the trouble is, Neo, how do you carry with a level 1 DK and 3 Fiends versus KraV's level 2 DK and 5 Fiends right now, who also have an attack upgrade, as I mentioned before, Starbuck. I can see he literally just passed over resources again to his ally. They are trying to feed KraV up and make him as strong as possible while massing those Huntresses. And Bizzare has to cower in his base with low HP units that he can't possibly heal or bring out into the fold. I love that Starbuck is pressuring that Shadow constantly, pretty much right in the face of all those burrows, to try and lower his health as much as they can. And the Blade, what is he doing? He's just chilling by the Voodoo Lounge, hoping to get a few smokes or something, or some shishas from that Voodoo Lounge. I'm not sure what he wants from there right now. But what can he do?
Not much. No shop, no mana on the Shadow, no health on the Grunts. Bizzare is basically out. But also Sheik, like everything from his side is hurt as well, and this was all without the Lich, this was all without statues.
Yep,
this
it's incredible to see how much pressure you can get with just these basic units. There's no support really for KraV, no statues as you said yet. There's just mass Huntresses. Okay, Starbuck actually taking an engagement here by himself against Sheik and Bizzare's Blade. But to be honest, doesn't really take much loss against them. Sheik forgetting to buy Orb of Corruption on that Lich, even though he's tier 3. Feels really bad for him, and KraV sniping that Shadow Hunter at the back there. He was poked at for so long, and yep, as you said, quick game right there, and a very solidly executed push by Starbuck and KraV.
That even puts us ahead of schedule now. I expected a little more here, but Starbuck and KraV, man, a force to be reckoned with. So next week we have our semi-final on Friday and Saturday as the lead into the one-on-ones. And damn, we get the two dominant teams of today facing each other, Lawlight and Sock versus Starbuck and KraV. As expected, but it's like the unstoppable force against the immovable object. It's going to be glorious.
It will be glorious. It pretty much feels like a grand final match, to be honest, in this 2v2 competition. But in any case, we get to look forward to that match quite a bit sooner than you might have expected. And yes, we'll have those two absolute titans of a team going against one another later on in the week.